Hey guys, so I'm in my house right now doing this video or doing the intro to this video and probably the exit as well because the flies are crazy out there right now. It's dry season. Um, After I got through making the video the other day on the saw teeth, I realized that all my cuts were cross grain, and which is the way most saws are designed to be used. I was given the example that if you looked at trees as all their fibers being like a bundle of straws going one direction. So like this would be all the straws going that way. You've got that bundle of straws and going across, doing a cross cut like which I had done in the other video is it's the easiest way and the way most saws are used. You're going right through those fibrous straws, and it's more efficient that way. But the question came up was, what if you were going against the grain? In other words, you were going over across the top of those straws. You're kind of cutting a channel out. So it takes a different type of saw to be effective at that. And I was curious on which kind of saws that I own would work. So let's go outside, make some cuts, really similar to the same way we did the other day. I'm going to use two types of wood. I'm going to use this, which I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, and I'm going to use some costs that I have. Both are really dry and kind of seasoned out, so this should be interesting. So here are the resulting cuts. We use two different types of wood. I can't remember the name of this one, but it is a hardwood. It's slightly more porous though than this, which is costs much tighter grain. Going from the top down, and I'll see if I can bring this up here where you guys can see it. Okay, so the top line was done with the Work Pro saw. Bit in fairly quickly, did decent. The Gerber saw was next. It wasn't digging as deep as you guys can see, but it didn't make a nice, neat little cut. The Swiss Army knife saw I was kind of struggling with. I couldn't really get it to bite in. But of course, we're dealing with end grain here. The tops is the top line right here. It on the pull cut, it was actually slicing decently or okay into that wood, and then the back WSK was right here below, and because I was dealing with end grain, you can kind of see it's a little jagged there. Here's a reference for depth. So I can get that a little bit better for you guys. There we go. Here's a reference for depth on those. Okay. And lastly was the Woodsman. And those were the cuts that it was making. It was easier to start this. And we'll go to the next group. And the next group is the Costwood. Same cuts. Bring this up here so you guys can see it. All right, this top line here was done with the Work Pro. Next line, the Gerber. Had a little bit more trouble with it this time. This is the Swiss Army knife. And again, it's just really hard to get it started. It seemed to want to keep popping out. And lastly was the tops, which again on the pull was making, it was making cuts, making decent cuts. Here's a reference on depth right there. There we go. So you can see the Work Pro did a really good job there. Gerber didn't go very deep. Swiss Army knife kind of grabbed the surface, and the tops went a little deeper than Swiss Army knife. All right, now we're going to go to the last piece. The top saw cut is the Beck WSK. Bottom is the Woodsman. You can see it's a little rougher cut with the WSK. It was hard to get it to go in depth, but it stayed where it wanted to. It stayed in the line fairly decently. Here's the depth of that. Here is the depth of the WSK. You guys can see that okay. Yeah, there's the depth of the WSK cut. It was working on both the push and the pull stroke. Did a really good job. Okay, back inside away from the flies. That was really interesting. I was super happy on how well the Woodsman did on the end grain cuts. It really did a good job. It was scooping those out. The teeth are almost like chisels in a way, and did a great job. The tops was actually similar in a way that on the pull cut I was getting some slivers back and kind of opening the channel up. The Beck, the Work Pro, the Swiss Army knife just did not do good at all. The Gerber did okay. The Work Pro saw did all right. The Beck was great initially, but it got gummed up. I think it's just the wrong type of saw teeth for that end grain cut. Of course, it's for notching. But anyway, it was really interesting, and I like doing these little experiments on my own, so that way whenever I'm out in the field, I don't have to second guess on, which way to make a cut. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay safe, take care, and God bless.